has identified the cause of a mysterious pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan city. And it's from the same family that caused the deadly SARS epidemic 17 years ago.
And the same phenomena has been reported in Japan. Officials in both countries have said they're still learning about this new virus.
Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S.
565 people are dead and more than 28,000 infected with coronavirus.
Many schools around the world, as you know, have shut down, some for extended periods of time.
Schools across the tri-state area continue to either cancel classes or move to remote learning.
All of it to ensure.
Close the schools. It's not that easy. It's not that simple. For many families, the school is childcare.
And additional support will be provided to assist them as they transition to learning in a different way, and our teachers as they transition to teaching in a different way.
When all these rumors came around about coronavirus and, we might have to do digital learning and close down the schools, we were kind of like, what? Like, could this really happen? Is this really something that could happen? And how would we do it? Halfway through the day, they went over the loudspeaker and they said to check your email. And they said, this is our last day. They're going home today. Don't tell the students that it's their last day, but start preparing the material. So in my planning time for 40 minutes, I was like, what can they go home with? Can I make a little book bag that they can bring home that has, a book with them, their materials they might need? For the rest of the day, we just practiced on Google Classroom, and I put one of the things that I was going to use on there, and we talked about it, and how can you do this if you're at home? At the end of the day, I gave them a big hug, and that was it. So that was on March 17th, and right now it's April 6th, and we never thought that it would go for this long, and I'm sure it's going to go for longer than we plan as well.
When we officially knew that we weren't going to go back to school, we had a day. Our kindergarten and first grade teams worked together to brainstorm things that we could do to prepare our children and to prepare for their stay-at-home time that the week of March 9th through the 13th. When we left on March 13th, we had no idea that we were going to be there for home for 2 months. We thought maybe we were going to be out for a week. We thought maybe they were going to come in. We didn't know. We had no clue.
Fritos wanted to go in the pond, wanted to cool down from the hot day.
So this is an assignment I gave to the students. They had you create your own math story. With this format, Seesaw, he can record himself. What's really cool is that I can keep a portfolio and manage his portfolio. It's something I can do even when we're in a more traditional school setting. And his parents can log in at home and see some of the activities that he's been doing at school.
We have been very lucky in Union County because we have what's known as the one-to-one initiative, where our students from 6th grade up receive a Chromebook every year. And that Chromebook we run what's known as a blended classroom. It's not just the teacher talking, it's not just you talking with your peers. It can be a mix of computer work, online work. We have a learning platform that our students are familiar with on how to turn things in. So we progressively have been moving in that pattern, I want to say, for probably about 5 or 6 years. So that aspect was already there. The next piece of it, we're transfer to online learning. Union County is very different from the west side to the east side. The west side is more populated, more higher socioeconomic, where you go to the eastern side of the county and parents might not have Wi-Fi because either A, they can't afford it, or B, it's not offered because it's still a lot of farmland out there.
I loved reading about it. Can I ask you some things from it?
Yeah.
The most difficult part about teaching digitally is, in school, you can meet with the kids, you have groups with them, you meet one-on-one, they hand in exit tickets and you can see, are they understanding the concept, who's really participating a lot, who's having a hard time, and you can see that just based on your observations and based on what they hand in. So teaching digitally, it was hard to see, who's getting it. You know, we're continuing with fractions, we're moving on from lesson to lesson, and you just don't really know who's understanding it and who needs that extra help.
I miss having that one-on-one with them. I miss just building of that classroom spirit that we get, that unity that we get. That's missing. And I don't know how you can make that up in distance learning or anything like that. There's something that occurs in a class when you're together and you build like this little family piece to it. So that's not there.
Probably the hardest part of all of this, other than the fact that we're going through a pandemic and we're all at home, has been that for a teacher who's taught 5-year-olds for 30 years, not being with them physically is definitely the hardest part, because they're still very young. They need lots of hugs during the day, and they're very physical, and to not see their smiles and not have their hugs is very hard for me, and it's very hard for them. When we left on Friday, we didn't know we were going to be going this long without seeing each other.
I miss their jokes. I miss talking with them throughout the day. I miss meeting in the small groups, and I think it would just be a feeling that I would remember.
When we met on Zoom last week, I kept reminding them, I need you to be gentle with your parents. They're pretty stressed out right now. You need to be gentle with your mom and dad, and they're going to be gentle with you. Around the country and around the world, there are parents that are realizing that they can do this, that there are plenty of resources out there that I think we were not, as educators or as parents, utilizing. Just as many parents that are making jokes about teaching their child, they're like ready to send their kids back to school and are saying teachers need to be paid $1 million. I think there's also parents that are probably enjoying this time with their children.
I think that resilience is key, and I think we have a lot of resilient people. And all we can do is hope that this ends sooner than later, and that we can have our normal day-to-day lives back, and that we can see our kids soon. I think that'd be a big one.